Okay, so next up, you've assigned your assignment to your students. Now they're starting to turn work in. How do you know if it's actually been turned in? How do you grade it? How do you view it? So all you have to do is get into your class pages, go to activities, go to assignments, and it will come up and look like mine. Obviously, like I have 143 assignments in, yours won't be there yet. Um, how do I know if anyone's turned anything in? Well, these numbers in parentheses mean that something's been turned in that you have not viewed yet. So that is your signal to know. So that way you're not like just checking these randomly, just hoping someone put something there. That's your notification that something new is there for you to view. So I want to show you a couple different things. The first one, I want to show you what I typically do for math. So I didn't want to have to worry about, oh, I had my homework done yesterday, but I lost it. Or, um, I don't even know. My mind's blank right now, but you know, the typical, oh, I lost that worksheet. I don't know where it's at. Um, I gave it to you. I don't know what you mean that you don't have it. Well, this way was kind of my insurance policy. So basically, for math, what I have students do, even though most of the time it's all paper and pencil, I have them take a picture of the work when it's done and I have them submit it. That way, I have a digital copy of it. And it's also really nice and came in handy because I was able to show parents, like, well, look, here's what they're turning in. This is what it looks like. This is why they're graded the way is the way that it is. Because more and more, I keep hearing, well, my son or my daughter don't bring anything home. I don't know what they're doing, because a lot of the time it ends up in the bottom of their book bag or shoved in their desk. So this is pretty powerful to have. So if you click on the assignment, here were all my detailed instructions. And this one was when we were working from home. So it's probably a lot more detailed than it is usually. Um, and then I would attach anything that they had to do. So for this case, they had to complete a worksheet and they had to complete their daily math practice, which was done using a Google form. So, in order for them to view it, they would just actually click on the attachment and they would be able to view the worksheet. And if it was a Google form, if they click on it, it would take them right to Google Forms. Now, how do I view the work? How do I see what they've turned in? I hit view work. It lists my students here. Here you can see handed in, my reply. So here, handed in, anyone that has a 1 or any number for that sake would be that they've turned in something. So they have attached something to this assignment. Here's where you put their grades in, or you can also come here, click on the student, and here's Carly's work. I can make it bigger. I can view it this way and put a grade here. Or what I really like to do is go into, it says open in, and you can open an annotator. Maybe if my internet works tonight. There we go. So I can view her work much, much easier to read this way, right? I can put her grade in here. And then the nice thing is I can click to the next student, and just go right through this whole class in this view. I can mark it as viewed, which I typically do so they know that I've seen it. You can hand it back to a student. Maybe there's something wrong and it's just not going to work. The other thing I really like is there is an annotate option. So right here you hit annotate and you're able to draw on their paper, highlight, add text, add pictures. You can draw an arrow, shapes, all kinds of good stuff here. A laser pointer, that would really be needed. Um, an eraser in case you make a mistake, of course. So a lot of the time what I would do is I would put in text boxes, and here you can choose the color and the font and all of that good stuff. And I would go ahead here and say that was just my nickname for her. So, kind of in place of stickers, I know we don't always have time to do that. Maybe you're responding to a writing assignment and you want to give them feedback. You can put it right on here for them. And I think, it's nice and it's beneficial to them. They can find it, they know where it's at. And it's just a nice little addition. In math, I sometimes go through and I'll put the correct answer. Or I'll circle somewhere in their work where they went wrong to kind of help them know, okay, this is how you do it. And for me, the reason why I have them take pictures of paperwork is it's so much easier for me than taking home 60 kids' worksheets every night, whereas I can be at my daughter's dance class and grading from my phone, or I can be sitting in the doctor's waiting room and getting some grades done versus always having to haul paper everywhere and have to get it all out and worry about losing anything. Everything's here. I have proof of it all. So it's just something that I really like to do. It's an extra step, but really my kids get used to it. They know like the minute they walk in, their job is to submit any assignment that they might have and then get ready to start class. So just an idea. So that's how you can also grade. That's how you can annotate. But I'll show you something else. And you could, again, click to the next student and you'd be able to view their work. I think this student probably annotated his worksheet. He liked to do that, yeah. So there is a way for them to write it. It sometimes always depends on like if the iPad updated, or so the annotation kind of got hard there for a little bit. Those of you that are high school teachers and have the luxury of Notability, that would be perfect for this. They could edit it in Notability and then just submit it right through. So that's a plus. I'm going to exit out of this view and come back here. So his, you can see, comes up as a PDF because he probably downloaded it, edited it in probably iBooks and then, or files, and then uploaded it again to the assignment. Whereas Carly's, you can see the image because she just took a picture of hers. So you can grade a couple different ways, couple different windows like I showed you. It's up to you. You can even choose to download files. So like if you want to download their work onto your computer, you can do that. If you notice that, oh, you turned in yesterday's assignment, but I need today's assignment, or I really like your written response to that question, you could always write message, and this message will go directly to the student. I'm not going to do that because Carly would be one that would probably check from home over the summer. You can actually add recipients too. So maybe you want it to go to a certain amount of students, a couple different students. You can go ahead and pick as many kids you want in there. You can send them files, whatever you need to maybe direct them where you need to go. And you can either save a draft or send it right from here. So whatever grades that you do put in here will go right into their grade book where you usually go over here under grading. So it will transfer. You can also hit here to write messages, here to download the different files. Something that I learned that was pretty important, if you're going to annotate anyone's paper, so that was when I was showing you how to add text boxes or draw on the student's paper, highlight, you need to hit this hand back reviewed files button. If you do not hit this when you're all done, they will not get any of those annotations. That's definitely, I learned the hard way. So make sure that if you did annotations, click hand back reviewed files. Do you have to do that for something you don't annotate? No. And it actually would come up with a list and say, you've annotated so-and-so's files. Do you wish to send it back? And you'll so here were a couple that come up, and I would go ahead and hit hand back reviewed files. It usually comes up and says, this will take a while. Do you want to close and we'll complete in the background? I usually hit yes, and that way I don't have to sit there and wait until it's done. We can go back to the assignment list. And I showed you how to view work when you click here, but you also can just hit view work here as well. And again, still edit your assignment or delete your assignment from here. Something that I did learn is that if you delete an assignment here in class pages, it oddly will not delete from your gradebook. So if I make an assignment and then I end up deleting it, oh, it's not going to work, I'm not going to do that. You need to also make sure that you delete it from your gradebook because it will still be there. It's really odd how this is connected. Like some things are, some things aren't, and that's one of them. But I promise you it will send your grades if you grade it. So I showed you how I have students take pictures of their homework assignments and turn them in. Another thing would be is how they would complete something through a Google Suite and turn it back into me. So I believe I have my reading class open. So I'll show you something that we use. So when we were reading Bud Not Buddy with them, they had questions that they had to answer from each chapter. So if I come here and hit view work, I'm going to go to a student I know is an online learner here. I'm going to click on this student specifically instead of kind of going from beginning to the end because I know she was one that did online stuff. So here it shows you, here's her assignment that she uploaded. And I'll choose to go ahead and I can open it in Google Drive itself, and I can open it in Annotator. So in this case, I'm going to open in Annotator. And for some reason tonight, it's not going to let me open it there. So we're going to go ahead and open right in Google Drive. And here's her worksheet. So I took a typical PDF and I created it into a digital worksheet where they were able to go in and type in their answers or responses. So you can see all of her responses in blue. I would go through here and read through these. Typically in Google Slides, you might be able to add comments and things like that like you would a Google Doc. Or I can come back here, write her a message, and then I would give her her grade. And then it will save automatically. So like if I put a 2 here, see that it's thinking, it's saved. Come back here, put a 5, and we're back to normal. So everything would be saved. There's no save button. As you can see here, it saves as you do it. And you can just hit close again to get out of it. So that's how you can grade assignments. To me, I think it's pretty easy. It's easy to follow. It's nice that I can go from one student to the next. Those of you that are in a merged classroom like I am for math, and when I say merged again, that means that you took, say, maybe if you're a high school teacher, you took periods 2, 3, and 4 because you teach American culture to all 3 of those. You would actually just create one class for all 3 classes to share. That's why I have sections. So I have Mrs. Dean, Mrs. Jardina, Mr. Nesbitt. So when you're going through and checking assignments, you need to make sure that you're picking each individual class or period or section, whatever it might be. That way you're making sure that you're getting everyone's work, not just the first section that pops up, which would typically be your if you're in elementary, it'd be your homeroom, and then the others would follow. So again, that will only apply if you have a merge class, and that would have been that video in that first assignment that I talked about merging. Other than that, I think that's pretty much the basics of assignments. You guys have been making assignments through Gradebook all year, so you know how to do that. So it's basically the same thing. They're interconnected, and it just has a newer way for them to turn things into you. As for students turning things in, how do they turn things in? I will probably add an extra section at the end of this course with the videos I sent out to parents and students that will kind of walk you through that. And it's, teaching them how to walk through PowerSchool, where things are located, how to turn assignments in, all of that good stuff. And if you choose to use this, or if we get to use it, I would be happy to help you with that throughout the year too. So just give me a shout through email or whatever, and I can help you with that. So other than talking about discussions and pools, that's pretty much it. And I'll do that in our next video.